In 5, 4,
Four,
3.
three. I know, you see.
So welcome my glorious fans to another video. Today me and Mr. DNads are ranking these TV characters on their chances of surviving The Walking Dead.
Yo, DNads here, back on the channel. I feel like I've been on this YouTube channel so many times, it feels like home. I'm happy to be back, and this is a classic TWD tier list. I know you guys love The Walking Dead, and MCC doesn't do it enough, so we thought we'd give you guys another great video.
And actually, before we start, I just want to explain a little bit more in depth. So we will be going over their survival skills, how good they are with a team, and their intelligence to survive The Walking Dead universe, and we will be basing it off of how many seasons they can last.
Now, Saul Goodman is the first character on this list, and he's quite an interesting one to be put in a post-apocalyptic world like The Walking Dead, and to your surprise, he might actually live longer than you might think. Saul Goodman isn't strong physically, but he definitely has the mentality of a sneaky rat and could get out of situations like no one else. I mean, he's quite literally had a gun pointed to his head numerous times and has magically got himself out of a life or death situation. So I would honestly put Saul Goodman in almost all seasons, kind of that guy who sticks with the good group, like maybe Rick Grimes' group, maybe even Negan, but he sticks with the toughest, the most brutal guys that will get the job done in terms of physicality, while still kind of stay in the background and maybe even make it seem like he provides some type of value.
Now in The Walking Dead against walkers, which, in my opinion, the walkers really aren't, that aggressive. I mean, like, if you're caught in a flock of walkers, then yeah, it's kind of, a hard situation. But a one-on-one is kind of easy. You just outrun them, etc., etc. But I feel like Saul Goodman could be the brains of the group, just like DNad said. He could probably join in with Rick Grimes and gives like an idea or a plan on how to lead the group into success.
Next up, we have Walter White, who is in the same universe as Saul Goodman, which is another interesting character to be put in this world, and honestly, he's quite smart, so I could go on to say that maybe he would live all seasons, but there's just one thing that I think would really limit him. If we go back to the Breaking Bad series and how it ended, we see that Walter White's ego and need for more and more and never really stopping kind of gets him killed in a sense by the end. And in reality, for The Walking Dead, those who end up living all the way are those who remain humble but also brutal, just like Rick Grimes, who has a kind heart and would sacrifice himself for others in a heartbeat.
One thing that I do want to add about Walter White is I don't think that he would be in all seasons or almost all seasons, because there's one crucial element about this. Walter White is a cancer patient, and if you're in a post-apocalyptic world, there is no medicine whatsoever. So if we base this off of Walter White having cancer, honestly, I just think off of that by itself, he will only survive some seasons because of the cancer, because inevitably cancer will take him. And also on top of that, his physical feats aren't really that good either, and he really isn't that good with working with a team because, as you already said, his ego always gets in the way of everything, and a lot of his kills in Breaking Bad were indirectly anyway. So I mean, him going up against walkers, I feel like he would kind of be scared but not scared at the same exact time. I just think some seasons is kind of the best for Walter White. And then next we have player 456. Now honestly, this one might shock a lot of people, but I feel like he could survive all seasons. And hold on, let me cook. This is the guy who survived the Squid Games not once, not twice, but 3 times. Well, at the end, spoiler alert, he did die at the end of season 3 Squid Games, but just surviving 2 Squid Games is enough said. He's shown physical attributes at the end of season 1 when he had to 1v1, and also in season 2, so he has physical feats. This is the guy who went up against the front man and even succeeded. Well, at the end in season 3 he never really truly succeeded, but I guess you could argue that he did succeed because he showed that human life was way more valuable than the games and everything. So yeah, I do think player 456 will survive all seasons just because of what he's shown in seasons 1 to 3 of Squid Game.
I would totally have to to agree. Honestly, at first, I wouldn't put him at all seasons, but with what you explained, he is kind of built for the post-apocalyptic world of something like The Walking Dead. The zombies aren't crazy like The Last of Us, so honestly, comparing his skills that were shown in the Squid Games, which doesn't have zombies, is honestly correct because of the high-stress situations he was put in within the games. Like I said, he's not literally getting chased by zombies in the games, but he has a target on his back with guards shooting at him at the sight of a failure.
And coming in next, we have Dean Winchester. Now, I also should put Sam Winchester on here because they're literally both brothers, and right off the bat, Dean Winchester is getting the top of all seasons. Now, if you've already watched Supernatural, you know exactly why he is in all seasons, but for those who haven't watched Supernatural, let me just give you some feats. Dean Winchester has survived Purgatory. Dean Winchester has survived Hell. Yes, I'm literally talking about him going to Hell, then coming back up to Earth. He has survived Hell. He has survived encounters with Lucifer and God, and he also kills demons, ghosts, vampires every single day. This is his job. So just saying that, 100% this guy is surviving all seasons. There is no questions asked.
Next up, we have the GOAT Michael Scoffield, who is arguably one of the smartest people on this list. And although his skills are limited to being a structural engineer, I do believe he would play a great part in surviving within The Walking Dead. Like I mentioned, he has an extremely high IQ, and most importantly, he's a genius with a kind heart. I mean, it was literally stated that he has a condition where he has to care for others ahead of himself. This is why I think I would honestly put him at all seasons, right ahead of Gihan, aka Player 456, just because of this. And I honestly think that he would cook up some crazy plans to get him out of situations like we've seen all throughout Prison Break, where he's literally getting chased by the elites who essentially run the United States.
And then next we have the Trinity Killer. Now, right off the bat, I'm gonna have to put him in Dead in the first season. The Trinity Killer might be one of the best serial killers in Dexter, but being a serial killer doesn't really technically correlate to surviving a post-apocalyptic world. Right off the bat, this guy is old as hell. Yeah, he stands in around 6'4", weighing around 200 and some pounds, but he doesn't really have any physical attributes. He's not really good at fighting. Yeah, he's intelligent, but I mean, to be honest, the moment he encounters a walker or a group of walkers, I don't even think he could outrun them. I mean, like, he'll probably get gassed in the first 5 minutes of running from the walkers, and eventually those walkers, like Michael Myers, will probably catch up and then kill him. And also, the Trinity Killer is not good around people. This guy hates his family, and yeah, he kind of formed a relationship with Dexter, but I mean, like, that didn't really last too long, let's be real. So there's really nothing that the Trinity Killer has to survive any more seasons than just the first.
Yeah, I would have to totally agree. Although he was pretty tough in Dexter and was arguably one of the most notable antagonists in the entire franchise, his physical attributes aren't really all of that, and his age is quite literally a drag on his ability to probably survive or take out walkers at the bare minimum. If we remove that, he can't function in society or let alone group properly, and his need to kill would definitely get him out within sheer weeks. Someone like Rick Grimes would snuff him out for killing others that are innocent, and he would kind of just be gone just like that. Similar to the guy who abused his wife in Alexandria, which isn't even anywhere close to who Trinity was.
And next we have Billy Loomis from Screen. And now, just like Sam and Dean Winchester, I could probably just include Billy and Stu, and right off the bat, Billy and Stu get Dead in the first, but I kind of will put them over Arthur and Mitchell. Right off the bat, these guys are young, they're in high school, so their physical attributes are way better than the Trinity Killer right off the bat because they're young and healthy, but also that plays into a reason why they're dead in the first, because they're high schoolers and they're kind of inexperienced in life. And also, might I add, spoiler alert, Billy and Stu lost a 2v1 at the end of the movie. Like, these guys were terrible serial killers. Like, I'm talking about terrible. Yeah, they did kill a couple people, but really nothing that they showed in their movie, Billy and Stu combined, ever translate into a post-apocalyptic world. These guys are probably going to die within the first couple of episodes, let alone even the first season.
Now, the moment some of you have all been waiting for, and the character everyone watching this video probably recognizes the most, is Dexter Morgan. Now, we already did Dexter on the original tier list, but you know what? We gotta rank him again and think about a new scenario and type of storyline I guess we could imagine him in. Now, Dexter Morgan, no glaze, I think is honestly an all seasons type of guy. Considering everything he's done up until Dexter Resurrection, this guy doesn't back down and he doesn't give up. He's quite literally survived over a decade where he didn't kill, and he shows that he can have some sense of control within his present character. And honestly, although he is a serial killer and the crew probably wouldn't like that, I think his skills would be used for the better, with Rick Grimes maybe allowing him to take the more tough calls and do the more tough decisions that require someone taking another's life.
Now, I know Dexter might be a serial killer and the people might not like that, but then again, Dexter isn't a serial killer that just kills random people. He only kills bad people, so that could be an advantage that the people in his group could use him for. You might say Dexter really isn't that good around people. He's not really a people's people. He's not really, that good in groups. He likes to be a lone wolf because he is a hashtag Sigma. He still has every single attribute. He has the immense intelligence. He has really good physical attributes, and he knows what he's doing. So if Dexter was put in the Walking Dead universe, I feel like he could survive all seasons, but it's arguable. You can either put him at the top of almost all seasons or right below Michael Scoffield. And just because I glazed Dexter, we're gonna put him in all seasons, but you could just say that he could be at the almost all, but for this, we're doing this. Now, Will Graham is very intelligent, and he is the person who actually found out about Hannibal Lecter, and that doesn't really correlate to surviving in a post-apocalyptic world. I will say this: Will Graham is very intelligent, and he has a really good sense of his surroundings, but there is one thing that is really wrong with Will Graham. Is his mind is completely screwed. Now, it was screwed just because of Hannibal Lecter's doings, but even before that, getting in the field, it's always been hard for Will Graham to really digest everything. But he does have one really special ability, is that if you put him at a crime scene, he can basically retrace the steps and know exactly what happened. But him surviving all seasons, I just really can't see it, just because of how fractured his mind really is. And in a post-apocalyptic world, I will probably 100% see him maybe going insane and probably not pulling the trigger on himself, but just going so insane that it's just too much for him. So I might put Will Graham at the top of almost all seasons.